Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Cassandra Naidoo and I work in the emergency department at one of the hospitals in Gauteng. Working in an emergency department, a lot of our patients suffer from gender-based violence. A lot of them being in an era where technology is so readily available, there's emotional abuse, physical abuse, and digital abuse. So we see a lot of that coming through. Digital abuse is when you get bullied on social media. When it's on WhatsApp, people spread false information about you. They take pictures and they use AI tools to modify your face onto images in compromising situations and in compromising pictures. And these are some of the elements of digital abuse. A lot of times patients present to the emergency department following some type of abuse, some form of abuse. This can sometimes be something they've heard their friends talk about, and now they present to the emergency department very distressed. They can't breathe. They feel like they're having a heart attack. Their chest is pounding. They literally are unaware of the surrounding that they are in. And a lot of times this is related to anxiety. It's the anxiety response that comes out when you are overwhelmed and you are unsure of how to react to these situations of abuse that happen. So when we get to the root cause of the anxiety, most times that's when we find out that this is based on abuse and something that has happened to trigger this response. When talking to the patients that we generally see, an increase of situations where they have been bullied at school. Somebody makes a voice note and then they send it around on the class groups and they're upset because you have made friends with somebody else, or they try to body shame you, or they take a picture of you in the bathroom and you didn't know this was going to happen. A lot of other times we get patients who are self-cutting and self-harming. So when you delve deeper in, in a school-going child, a lot of times it's because of the bullying that happens at school, where maybe you're just bigger than the other child in your group and they body shame you because of that. Or you like to eat and everyone laughs at you at lunchtime. These are some of the instances. The others are in the workplace when your boss is just expecting you to give some social favors that you may not be comfortable with, or you're not in the popular group at work and you get left out all the time. This sometimes works on people and it brings out that anxiety response through. So digital abuse is one form of abuse that we see. The other forms are the physical abuse that you may encounter, where a parent abuses a child. And it may make no sense to a child and they may be punitively parenting, but they choose to hit the child physically, or they lock them in a room, or they choose to not give them any supper today. And that continues for a few days. That can be one form of abuse. The other form of abuse could be in a relationship where your partner decides that they just wish to abuse you every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after they've had a few drinks. And that should not be accepted. And the one that we are most terrified about is sexual abuse, where a girl is in a crowd at a party, at a bar, and suddenly she's given a date rape drug and she cannot remember what has happened from the night before. And this is exceptionally traumatizing to the patient, to the surrounding events that have happened, their inability to recollect the events of whether they were actually raped. And that is something that we shy away from, but it happens all the time. Every weekend, hospitals around South Africa will see patients who come in who don't know what happened. And this is because of the rape cases and the sexual abuse that occurs in our environment. The one that we shy away the most from is when a person in authority in the home or at school or in a social circle, like an aunt and uncle, abuse a child. And we tend to look the other way because this is family or this is a friend and we don't want to talk about it. But it's very prevalent in our community today. It happens all the time. And because our children and our Gen Zs are part of the vulnerable community, we tend to look the other way. But these are the abuses that we need to be aware of. Managing anxiety is fundamentally understanding the triggers and what causes the symptoms that make you feel the way that you do. And hopefully if we address those, then you don't come into the emergency department looking terrible and worse for wear because you don't know what to do. So basically you need to know what is it that is underlying, that is causing this response. Is it abuse? Is it the bullying? Is it something that you see? Is it the fact that you feel alone? Are you feeling depressed? Are you sad? Are you in a relationship that is causing you to feel this way, where you feel like you have no out? Do you have any joy in your life? Are you feeling like financially the stresses are too much? Is everything happening around you and you just don't feel part of it? Those are some of the reasons why people get anxiety, is because they don't know how to deal with those feelings that they are going through. So some of the other causes are when you can't talk to somebody. You don't have somebody that you can confide in, somebody that understands you and wants the best for you. It's also when you feel like you want to self-harm, or you want to look for other avenues like alcohol, drugs, all those recreational stuff that we do to distract us from addressing the real symptom, which is how do we feel? And how do these symptoms present? The big one is when you feel like you can't breathe. It feels like the room is closing around you and you can't breathe. You feel like you have palpitations, like you've got chest pain. It feels like you're going to die. A lot of the patients just say, I don't think I'm going to be able to take another breath. Doctor, I feel like I'm going to die. It is very common. And once you calm them down and give them some medication, it brings the patient back, and then they understand, okay, so I need coping mechanisms to deal with this. So the first way in which you can cope with your anxiety is to identify your trigger. What is your trigger? What is the underlying problem that is affecting you? What causes you to fundamentally feel this way? The second thing is that you need to find somebody who you can talk to and confide in. And you need to get help from a psychologist, a social worker, or a psychiatrist. A lot of the local clinics and the primary healthcare facilities have these available. The third thing to do is to find coping mechanisms. When I'm feeling this way, what should I do? Should I go and talk to my friend who I've confided in and start breathing properly, start breathing exercises, start calming myself down, start telling myself I'm worth more than this. I'm going to move on. This is just a phase and we're going to get through this. And I think those things can help us deal with our anxiety.